All right, guys. I'm watching the news channel on the TV. They're talking about more people may die if they end the lockdown on coronavirus in the UK. But who knows what's going to happen? Are they going to reopen the bars, reopen the pubs, reopen the cinemas, reopen the restaurants? I mean, at least the supermarkets are open. And they're going to reopen the factories eventually, but they're speaking on the news about it now on Sky News. I mean, as we all know, it could go up even higher. As I said, 30,000 to 40. They're saying they're trying to get everyone tested for coronavirus in the UK, which is not going to happen because of the staff shortages. Germany have got it better. It says Royal College suggestions is not enough for health, beginning testing given per for lockdown based. So what she's talking about. So this is the woman there speaking about it there. She's asking the professor, is it a good idea?
It's tragic, and yes, I think if you like, they are a particularly at-risk group, and like other at-risk groups,
26,097 people have died. That's going to rise.
Positions where they're not quite so at risk. You're right, we don't really quite know why yet, but it's important that they are removed.
See, we're not even at the peak as I'm pointing here. That's going to go up.
And what challenges would that cause for the colleagues left behind?
Well, it put more pressure on. I mean, a major proportion of our workforce are from the BAME community. And,
the community is already struggling anyway. People losing their jobs, people have got no money.
To carry on, unless, as we've been suggesting in this report, that we are.
The lady was saying, don't end the lockdown too early, as more people will die. People have been dying in nurses, old people's homes in UK.
A proper resource to manage both a possible surge of the virus and indeed managing all the extra cases we're planning.
We can't hide from the virus; it'll kill you eventually.
So just to clarify, Professor, what you're saying is that if your colleagues, your BAME community colleagues, were removed from the front line, you think that's a good idea at the moment to protect them. And if the lockdown was also lifted, that would put an impossible strain on your colleagues left behind.
Exactly, because the BAME community are such.
If they lift the lockdown, there will be a second peak of coronavirus.
So I wonder where we are as far as staying home and loosening the lockdown, if you will, as it's become known. You've explained to us why you think that would be a bad idea, but of course we also have to think about the economic health and the mental health of people who are in lockdown and who are otherwise well.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't tell how people are well or haven't got the virus. Can't predict, can you?
For all the reasons you said, but I think
Oxford, this is live, yeah.
Point where, to use Boris's own words, we have wrestled this virus to the floor, but it's not yet under control. And of course, if the lockdown is relaxed, then we run the danger of there being a further surge of the virus and the whole service being put under intolerable pressure once more.
Okay, Professor, we appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning. Do keep well, along with your colleagues as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Coming up on the programme for you shortly, we're going to be putting some of the points raised by the Royal College of Surgeons to the Justice Secretary, Robert Buckland, when he joins us at 7:30. The school assembly for the COVID age at 8 o'clock. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, will join us as he prepares to lead the first assembly of the government's virtual school for kids at home during lockdown. And then running off the show at 8:45, we're going to be joined by the comedian Mark Watson before he embarks on a 24-hour comedy marathon with a load of celebrity friends. Pretty packed show coming up for you this morning. Before that, though, let's talk a little bit more about what we were saying with the professor about NHS staff from Black, Asian and minority ethnic backgrounds. They may be taken off the front line and reassigned to non-patient facing roles because of concerns they're at greater risk of coronavirus. A memo from the head of the NHS has urged health.
We're all at risk of coronavirus. We can't be blind about it.
Workers are disproportionately affected.
Not pretending we can't see.
COVID-19. Isman Rashid has more on the risk to people from BAME backgrounds.
These were all people at greater risk of dying from COVID-19.
Virus pandemic Sky News suggests 60 of all NHS workers who died
Dr. Edmund
with COVID members.
Registrar at the emergency department in Swindon. Or Oscar King Jr., a porter from an Oxford hospital.
The development to health has 765 COVID-19 deaths, 4 hospitalised care homes and communities beginning. The total numbers of UK deaths, 26,000. World War II veteran Captain Tom Moore, who risen almost 3 million for NHS charities, celebrities. 10th birthday today, which markets with all black-placed
from a BAME
Houghton Kane,
but only 21%
Bedfordshire
of the NHS
home.
workforce are from this community. It's numbers like this which have caused great concern. But in this case, what does a risk assessment
will
mean?
wear a mask,
how will trusts carry it out?
check in leaving the airport, end of
a
their
tool that will
journey.
take into account the BAME status of a doctor as being a risk in its own right, combining that with other factors such as age, other medical conditions, the sort of work that they do, and to put that together.
2 hospital trusts in the UK already made the decision to categorise BAME staff as at risk. They brought in measures to tackle this concerning issue. Whilst Public Health England carry out a review into this growing problem, there inevitably will be more deaths amongst healthcare workers across the country. The question that's now being raised is if these risk assessments came in earlier, could some of these lives have been saved? Isman Rashid, Skies.
A major study has found a third of coronavirus patients admitted to NHS hospitals die from the disease, while more than half of those on ventilators don't survive. The study, the biggest of its kind in Europe, also revealed more about which groups are most vulnerable, with the most significant health risk factor being obesity, increasing the risk of death by 37%. Joined now by our correspondent, Enda Brady. Hello to you, Enda. You've got the facts and figures for us.
Yeah, good morning, Kay. As you say, this is the biggest study of the virus in Europe so far, 17,000 patients, and this is all UK data. So we can take a look at the key points now. Scientists and medical experts will be poring over this in the days and weeks to come. So if we take a look at the top line across here, this is all patients admitted to hospital. 33% died, 17% are still receiving ongoing care, and 49% have been discharged from hospital. And the next line down, if we go to that, this is patients admitted to intensive care. 45% of patients who went to ICU passed away, 24% still receiving ongoing care, and 31% recovered and were discharged. And then the bottom graph here is to do with patients who were placed on ventilators. 53% of patients placed on ventilators in ICU passed away, 27% still receiving ongoing care, and 20% recovered and were discharged. Now, other key bits of information from all of this study, if we look at it, we've discovered that 53% of all patients admitted to hospital had an underlying condition. And if we just change the chart and move on, I can show you precisely what they were. So chronic cardiac disease was one of the most common underlying conditions, diabetes, chronic pulmonary disease, chronic kidney disease, asthma and dementia. And a couple of other key points to make, Kay. There is a higher risk of death for groups dementia, 39% patients with dementia, 39% higher risk of death. Anyone with obesity problems, 37% higher risk of death, and heart problems, 31% higher risk of death. This is the biggest study of the virus so far in Europe.
Okay. Thank you, Enda. As experts warn, a vaccine for COVID-19 is by no means guaranteed. Scientists in the UK are looking for effective ways to treat the virus and stop it in its tracks. Our science correspondent Thomas Moore went to Oxford to meet the team planning what they call the COVID moonshot.
These are some of the real drugs we're testing.
In a lab on the outskirts of Oxford, the drug hunters are taking on COVID-19. With the help of artificial intelligence, they're scanning a back catalogue of 12,000 chemical compounds for possible activity against the virus. The results are instant, a deep blue, the signal of a possible match. The drugs have already been investigated for other diseases and passed initial safety studies, repurposed for the coronavirus. Scientists will be able to skip forward to trials in patients in a matter of months.
There's a lot to learn, and the fastest we can target different protein and try which one is the right one, which one we need to target to develop a treatment against COVID-19, the better.
Hospital trials of existing antiviral treatments in coronavirus patients have so far proved disappointing. But the Exscientia scientists are confident that a drug designed for a completely unrelated disease might by chance have the right structure to also stop the coronavirus in its tracks. The scientists here are hoping to find a drug that hits the coronavirus where it's most vulnerable. That might be the protein it needs to get inside cells, or it could be the proteins it needs to make copies of itself. If they find a good match, it could prevent the catastrophic damage being done inside patients' lungs. The drug hunt is being accelerated by Britain's most powerful microscope, a loop more than 3 times the size of Wembley Stadium that generates a beam of light 10 billion times brighter than the sun. It allows scientists to see individual atoms, with the drug highlighted in colour locking onto the virus. It should be possible to design the perfect match and stop the virus in its tracks. They call it the COVID moonshot.
Here we have a view of one of the components of the virus, and that is the active site where it does the actual work. And what we are trying to do in all drug discovery projects is to find a compound that we can stick in there and essentially block it from doing its reactions. We call it gunking up the works.
It used to take a decade to develop a new medicine, but the urgency of the pandemic and the lack of a vaccine is driving innovation and could result in effective treatment faster than ever before. Thomas Moore, Sky News.
This is a great story. Captain Tom, who's raised almost £30 million for the NHS by plants of his garden, celebrates his 100th birthday today. In recognition of his incredible fundraising efforts, the Ministry of Defence has appointed Captain Tom the first honorary colonel of the Army Foundation College, Harrogate. Thousands have been sending Army veteran birthday wishes, including some of his favourite cricketers.
I hope that I'm moving just as well as you at 50, never mind 100. Keep up all the great work, mate, and you should be seriously proud of what you've done. Brilliant.
And this is a treat, a Battle of Britain memorial flight pass of a Spitfire and a Hurricane has been organised by the RAF to mark Captain Moore's birthday. We'll bring that to you live at around 8:20 this morning, so do stay tuned for more on that. Politics, like every industry, is having to adjust to life in lockdown. And today, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer will go virtual when he holds a series of meetings with members of the public over Zoom as he tries to breathe new life into the party after taking over as leader at the start of the month. Let's get more from the Shadow Minister for the Cabinet, and that is Rachel Reeves. Hello to Rachel Reeves. Thanks for joining us on the programme this morning. We appreciate it.
I will leave the video at there, guys. If you want to watch the
Shadow
rest of this video or see what else is on the news channel, you can check out on YouTube or any other device of the news channel you want to see this rest of the news on. I'm going to give it a break for now. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm going to get some sleep. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to do some more videos later, other different things. Let's hope this vaccine eventually works in Oxford. We'll see what it does. Anyway, thank you for joining me in the UK. Join me. See you in the next one, guys. Peace.